Financial stability, and financial stability looks different for everyone. I did not get into this business to get rich.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Catching Up with Corey. I have with me today someone that has been very inspirational in my daughter's life. She's been a mentor. She's a local business owner. Hey, Kelsey Metzinger. Let's start out by having you introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, my name's Kelsey, and I own a retail shop in the Delano district in Wichita, Kansas, called Bungalow 26. And I have owned it since 2006. And we specialize in gifts, home decor. We have a little men's shop. We do wholesale. We specialize in aromatherapy as well. And so the wholesale part of the company is kind of what, that's kind of my new baby this last few years, getting it out there to other, business channels. So
are you located in any other stores? Where can
So my products, I have a men's shop in kind of within Bungalow 26 in Delano, and then there's another pop-up. The men's shop is called Bloke, and there's a pop-up in the workroom, which is a really cool business that features all local artists and makers and business people. And so I have another kind of pop-up shop of the men's department there. But then as far as selling products to other businesses, I've got them, I have about two dozen accounts, and those are all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Nala tells me you shop your products around. You go traveling and bring them to different locations.
Yes. It kind of all came by accident because the shop was always a big feature, was going to be the products that I make, the all natural bath products. That's about like 30%, 40% of what we do in the shop are things that I make. And people are just coming in and finding a product and then saying, oh, I've got, my cousin in Denver owns a salon. Would you sell them your candles? Or my mom lives in Nevada. Would you sell her your stuff? She has a boutique. And so it kind of just started that way. And then as time went on, I thought, I really should, it's kind of an untapped market for me. So, and as well as selling products, tons of local places sell my stuff. Workroom, Clifton Collective, Lucinda's, pretty much all the gift shops, major gift shops in town carry my stuff. But I thought this last year I would branch out and really try to capture a bigger audience. So I went and did 2 trade shows in New York City this last year. And so then I took on clients in New York, New Jersey, Florida, Maryland, Michigan. So just a lot of new clients in a whole different region.
So that brings me to the first question that I like to ask everyone. How do you define success?
I think I answered it in our little preliminary bio, and I kind of always answer it kind of, it sounds better than it does written. And I think I defined it, and that was being able to buy 4 tires at one time, I think is what I said. Financial stability, and financial stability looks different for everyone. I did not get into this business to get rich. I got into this business to provide a service and do something I was passionate about, but also have financial stability and be able to contribute to a 401k and do all these things, because when you become an entrepreneur, that's really on your own to do that. So my marker of success of that financial stability was several years ago when I needed 2 tires, and instead of just buying 2 tires, because they always tell you it's better to get them all at the same time, right?
Yep.
And I could never afford to do that before. And so when I was able to just buy all 4 tires for my car and not just rob Peter to pay Paul and put one on the front and then one on the back and have them balanced and rotated and all that stuff, that was really how I was like, oh, I feel really successful. So that's really, that's kind of a funny anecdote, I guess, to just financial stability, being able to pay my bills and not think heavily about where the money was going to come from. That's to me That was the thing.
That is that true to life story.
Yeah, it's not very glamorous, but that was it.
And that's the whole point. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Success doesn't really need to be glamorous for an
Right.
individual to feel successful. As Nala's trying to get me to understand the
Mm-hmm.
feeling portion of it, not just the
Yeah.
achievement side.
Yeah,
Um,
for
you know,
sure.
it's not about doing it big. It's the little things, the details that we try to get done every day to make our lives better.
It really, as much as a lot of people, and in certain contexts, it's like, oh, it's not about money. It's not about money. Yes, it is. It's about money because we have to have it.
Yeah,
We
we
live
do.
in a modern Western society and you have to have money. And so it is about money. And again, that goes back to like, it looks different for everyone, but and when I say it is about the money, it doesn't mean it's about the money to have a really nice car or whatever. It means it's nice to buy expensive paper towels at the grocery store or whatever, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Believe me, I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
went on a guy's trip a couple of weeks ago, and we went out to a restaurant and
Mm-hmm.
went into the restroom and picked up the hand towels, and we were like flawed with
They're so nice.
the quality of the hand towels.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So those are the things that I'm like, wow, I can go out and take my friends out and pick up the tab and
Uh-huh.
not feel regretful about it or be like, oh, I can genuinely be generous with money. I can treat myself to regular things if that's what it is. That's success. That's success to me.
Oh, there you have it, folks. Success in a nutshell. I don't think we need to say anything else. I
Four
mean,
tires at
four
the same
times
time.
right there. What would you say one of the biggest habits that you had to establish in order to get where you are?
Probably consistency and making a schedule. I tend to have Noel and I have talked about this 100 times. I have an artist brain. I went to school for art, and typically the generalization is that people with artist brains can be pretty flighty and flaky and don't like a schedule, and they don't, and that I find that I have got to have a pretty strict schedule for my day, for my weeks, make lists, all the things, organization, discipline. I guess my discipline. Really, I don't know anyone that is an entrepreneur that is able to be successful truly, unless they have some sort of discipline, or unless if they have, this is a whole different category of people. I know entrepreneurs that don't have to worry about money. Maybe it was given to them or whatever. So that's not a factor for them, but for people like me, that's really self-made for the most part. I have to be very disciplined and very regimented with my schedule, because if it's really easy to not, it's really easy to go off in a billion different ways. And when you don't have anyone telling you what to do, it's really easy to lose focus about what you really have to do. And that is generate income for your business. So I think discipline and a schedule and organization is really, I really leaned into, that's just who I am, because I think a lot of times with entrepreneurs, especially in my business with retail and like cute boutiques, and I used to do interior consulting and for clients. It's a very artsy, creative field. It's really easy to not be tethered to a schedule. So for me, making sure, even if I'm not at the shop, those regular, I have a working schedule. I don't very often just, go off the cuff with things. I have to know, because it just keeps everything moving. You have to keep things moving.
Do you find it difficult sticking to that schedule, or is it uh, something you've been doing for a long time?
I think probably in the beginning it was, but the last, I've been doing it for so long. It's just part of my day. So no, not anymore. Just when I realized that you can't just have a billion things that you want to do because your creative brain wants to go there. You won't ever get anything done, or you will get a lot of things done 75% of the way instead of a few things done 100%.
Yeah, you'll never be able to finish if you
Yeah.
Switch what you're trying to work on.
So probably in the beginning I did do all that stuff, but I have a pretty typical, I have a pretty, I just need, I crave organization and a schedule.
Yeah.
I function better that way. But I think a lot of people that are in the creative field really try to lean into like, oh, I just don't need a schedule. And I just fly by the seat of my pants. And I just don't work that way. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard for me to, when I see other people that own businesses and they want to know, they're like, gosh, I don't know why this isn't working. And da, da, da. I'm like, well, probably part of it is that schedule. People think that when you own your own business, you get to do whatever you want. And you really do not you get to do less of what you,
Yeah, that's
a lot of that has to do with your time management.
Yeah. So what advice would you give your younger self or a younger version of you, knowing what you know now?
Probably for me, not to be intimidated by the money and how to manage it. In the beginning, um, I was really, I was dealing with more money than I'd ever dealt with. And it was really all, you're the bottom line. And I think I was really nervous about it and didn't, I was kind of very much like, well, if I have enough money to pay my bills, I don't need to know the rest of it. So I feel like I turned a blind eye to a lot of things. And I think doing your due diligence when you're a business owner about everything that you come in contact with is probably, it's hard to get started, but I think that's a really big thing is, I got into a lease with my space and I didn't really know what I was doing. When you're young, you don't want to come off like you don't know, especially with, bankers and agents and all that kind of stuff. And everybody wants you to be their client. If you're like, oh, here's a bunch of money and I'm going to put it in this building or I'm going to whatever. I think doing your due diligence and asking experts and asking people in the field you want to go into. And anymore now you can just, chat GPT it. But a lot of it is like,
That's
right?
that's if they take the time to learn how to do it.
That's true. Like doing your due diligence, I would have said to myself, like, just do your homework more. Figure out it's hard though when you don't know what the homework, when you don't even know what the subject is, it's hard to say to do your homework. But especially now, there's so many more tools out there for people that want to start businesses.
How did you bridge that gap from when you were starting and trying to learn how to manage this?
I made so many mistakes. I just made a lot of mistakes and wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of money, got in situations where I felt very taken advantage of, or situations that I felt really stupid and I should have asked questions and I didn't. So, probably just a lot like any other situation when you're growing, like you do have to make mistakes a lot of times, or you don't learn from them. For me, I wish I had a better answer, but I think for me, it was like making mistakes and losing money or losing time or, losing trust in, institutions and, people that I trusted and things like that. I think it was just, I hate to say going through some negative stuff, but that's really, really what it was.
Yeah, people, myself included, tend to look at failure as the end all, and failure is not the end all.
Nope, that's just part of it.
That's the beginning. Once you
it really kind of is the beginning. That's really true. It's failure's not the end, and I think I've always kind of looked at it like, well, I'll figure it out. I'll just figure it out. I'll figure out a way over it or around it. The failure is just, really is the learning. Yeah, the failure is what teaches you.
What teaches you and how to move and how to get past where you're stuck. Yeah. Okay, so this is a question that I did ask in our pre here. You didn't answer it, but I do want to ask you.
Okay.
If you had to recommend a book for your younger self to read, what book would that be?
I think I didn't answer it because I truly cannot think of one. I'm not a big reader, Corey. Okay. I have a hard time sitting. People that I know make fun of me because I have a hard time sitting down and doing and being quiet, not being quiet, but
being still.
being still. It's really hard for me to be still and focused. And every time I try to read a book, I fall asleep. That's
So
not an answer because I truly couldn't think of one.
I kid you not, I'm reading a book right now, and it's putting me to sleep. I'm trying
And
to
see, that's what my friend was like when she's like, well, when you have problems going to sleep at night, you're always complaining about not being able to sleep. Get a book
pick
and
up a
read it.
book.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's probably a good idea.
So you said in one of your responses that you like to cook. What's your favorite meal?
Oh God. I like everything so much. And I like to cook. And that kind of goes in with what I do for a living, like making product. It's very, very similar. Well, tonight I'm making spring rolls and I'm making pad thai for dinner.
Mhm.
I like to learn how to make things from scratch first. It doesn't mean I'm always going to do it, but I really like the process of learning how to make things. Like I've made, croissants from scratch and bread dough and pasta from scratch and all kinds of things. I think my favorite thing to cook, I think it's not what I'm cooking. I think it's like how I'm cooking. So my favorite thing is to just, you know, turn on, a documentary in the background and have all afternoon to cook. Um, and have take time to do it. And I was actually just telling my husband yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm going to make a really good dinner Monday because I'm off in the afternoon and the evening because for me, it's my therapy. It's like how I tune. That's my meditation is cooking.
Uh-huh.
And I like the act of chopping vegetables and prepping. Um, I don't like cleaning up. I don't like that part, but I like the prepping. So I cook all manner of things. We always joke around because I was adopted. So I was born in Korea. And then I was adopted and a lot of my family, they're from the South.
Uh-huh.
And so my sister, and she was also adopted, and she makes traditional like Korean food. So she makes all the Korean food, like traditional, like legit Korean food. But we can do really good biscuits and gravy too. And like fried chicken and things like that, because that's just what we were raised around. But then we also have that are like tied to being Korean. And so we kind of, but we love pasta. So I love to make like homemade pasta and, so
Oh, see,
I don't think
now
it's
I'm
what
getting
I'm
hungry.
cooking. It's like how I cook, I think maybe. I'm so hungry.
Who has influenced you most and why?
Probably, I would say my mom probably influenced me the most because she was a single mom and she had 3 kids. And she really, really, really worked hard. And when I was younger, I did not understand why she was never present. And so when I say influence, it's not all positive in the way of like I kind of also saw how much she worked and how little joy, to be honest, that she had in her life because she was so wrapped up in work and she was not present for us. And so on the one hand, it's like, man, she really taught me how to be like an independent person. Don't depend on other people. And, she gave me that drive. And she was really crafty. So like I learned, that's kind of that whole, like, we like to putter around and get our hands in things. And I really learned all that from her. But I also learned that I don't want to not be present for the people in my life because work is so important to me.
Mhm.
So in that and she didn't want that for me either. She passed away, but we talked about it a lot where she said, don't do what I did. I didn't, and she didn't have a choice though. That's one thing too. She did not have a choice. She had three kids and was single and had no financial help. And so I think that's influential in almost every aspect of my life about my independence, financial security, trying to do things for myself and not working so hard that I don't enjoy the people or the things. The last 5 years of her life really was when I saw her really start to enjoy things and feel like it was okay to go on a trip or, that kind of stuff. And, I'm not going to wait until I'm like 60 7 years old to enjoy things. You know what I mean? So I think that was very influential. And she told me all the time, don't do what I did, you know?
Yeah. So what do you do now for fun?
I travel. I try to travel as much as I can. I cook. I love to cook, you know, as we were talking about. That's probably one of my favorite things to do. Um, and traveling and seeing new cities and I hate to say I work too, which is my work is fun, you know.
Yeah. Crafts. It's
Making things is fun for me, you know, and I really like it and it keeps my brain, you know, moving and stuff. So really, I really like what I do a lot. I get to be creative and I love to conceptualize a product and then and I do all the labeling and all the copywriting and everything for my lines. And so I like doing that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and purchase your products.
So the shop is Bungalow 26, and we're in the Delano district. The address is 613 West Douglas, just west of the river. People like to joke in Wichita, Kansas about being East Sider or West Sider. So we're in Delano. You can find me online at bungalow26.com. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, all the things. And then you'll find my stuff just all throughout the city at several different locations.
All right, Kelsey, thank you for talking to me.
Thanks, Corey.
All right.
It was fun.
We'll put everything in the show notes so that our listeners can find you.
Bills paid, locks laid, damn, you can't even tell me nothing. Fresh J's from Bay, he knows how to treat a lady. And I'm so proud of where I am, don't need to spin the block again.
This episode was produced and edited by me, Nala Monet. Our intro is A Piece of the Pie by Alana Jordan, and our outro is Diamond Energy by Thija Renee and Trauma Center. The host of Catching Up with Corey is the man himself, and you can find him anywhere at Corey L. Stokes. If you have a story and you want to share it, use the link in the bio or description. Let's celebrate success together.
And I deserve it all. I deserve all that it brings.